to the Indica Arena tent. Our speaker now is Richard Gusser. And many of you probably know him. He's been a long-time hemp farmer in the northern regions of New South Wales. And he's here today to share with you some of his knowledge about the limitless possibilities of seed and fibre and the resin of our favourite crop. Take it away, Richard. Thank you.
This is on? Okay. Well, hi, my name is Richard. I'm Swiss, but I'm actually a New Zealand citizen. I'm here as a New Zealander for the last 37 years or something. And I've had my fair shares of problems with the Australian government and myself in regards to hemp and cannabis. And about 10 years ago, somebody said to me, cannabis was healthy. And I said, fuck off. Haven't heard that before. So I looked it up. Sure enough, Rick Simpson come up on the thing, and I then decided to basically give up my job and dedicate the rest of my life to hemp, pretty much. And I've been in Nimbin this is my 9th year. And the reason I came to Nimbin was because somebody said you can grow your own home. And I came to Nimbin one day and this old dude said, yeah, we've been doing this for years, you know, we grow a bit of weed, then we sell the weed, then we buy building material and we build our own homes. And I thought, well, that's pretty clever, I'm going to try and do that. So I came up here with the intention to grow my own home, and I do have some photos of what we actually grown and built, so if somebody wants to have a look at that later on. I also, while I came to Nimbin, I ran into a group of people called the Hemp Club at the time, and there's a few people involved in this particular organisation. One was Martin Ernick, which is having some workshops on how to make things with hemp fibres, this is his work I presented to me, which is basically a hemp container made from hemp, ground hemp paper, and then we adding colouring and stuff to it to it. Anyway, Martin's invented this thing called hemp fibre fusion, where we basically grinding hemp into a very small particles, and then make materials out of it similar to plastic, except when you put them back into the creek, they basically go back into hemp. And then soil or whatever, so it's fully recyclable. Not so much scalable, that we have problems with making money with the whole process, and we actually the company can't move to Nimbin, but Martin's still around. Another person I met was a lady called Clara Marazewski. You've probably heard of her, seen her talk. She does hemp building workshops. So I did a workshop on how to make hemp buildings. And then I kind of worked on the concept of, well, I'm going to do this, grow my own home thing. And it ended up taking me 3.5 years from the beginning of the building project to the end of it. And I'm still not 100% finished, but most of it is made from weeds, which is basically lantana, hemp, camphor laurel, some of the vines that hang up on the trees, and then all put into a mix with magnesium oxide and magnesium chloride, and makes into solid type balls. I'm planning to share some of that knowledge in the future, if people want to grow their own homes. Also, I help people with hemp licenses, so I know how to fill the paperwork out basically, and know what the bullshit you have to put on to get those licenses, but they're reasonably easy to get. So if somebody's interested in growing, they want to have some seeds, they come and see me afterwards, and we'll help you. So unlimited potential of hemp is kind of something that I'm discovering. It pretty much can do everything, right? But not everything is that simple, you know. So we can make houses out of hemp, but is it going to be cheaper? Probably not so much, you know. You can probably make a cheaper house out of mud and sawdust, you know, and cement and stuff. So there's a lot of other things we can do as well. But hemp can do it. We can also in the future we'll be making windows and doors and window shutters and roof tiles and pretty much at the moment, if you have a hemp house, it's probably maybe 25% hemp content, if that. We'd like to go to 75, you know, so you really only need to have the steel and the screws and stuff, and the rest of it should be made out of hemp. So I have a display up here of all different things that are actually made from hemp. And I'll just start off with this one here. That's basically the particle board of the future. So that's basically just hemp ground up into little pieces and then stuck together with resin under a 500 ton press, this one. Over a period of 6 minutes, it turns out into a solid material, which is basically replacing the MDF and the wood chips in the future. But to do this on a large scale, we're going to need thousands and thousands and thousands and thousands of acres of farmers actually growing the stuff for us. So it's not going to be that simple. But the good news is, just before Christmas, we had a company in Oberon doing a trial on hemp, and they did 7,000 panels in 1 day in the factory. So the future is there. It's just now we have to work out how to go to the next level and get all the farmers, and the farmers need to get paid and all that sort of stuff. So that's a little bit difficult. So this is hemp particle board, and then we've got this is one of my favourite sample things. It's basically my future of a 4x2. So just imagine this 6 meters long, completely straight, screwable, drillable, and it's also waterproof. It's got a hemp outside, like the fibre on the outside is made from hemp. The inside is made from hemp hurd and resin, it should be waterproof. It's definitely fire retardant, and in the future it will be a machine that basically pumps that out by the linear meters, you know, and it'll all come out at the end, stacked up, ready to go to Bunnings. Not quite there yet, but it's coming. That thing was made in Melbourne as a sample, and that's another story.
Pass them around and have a look.
Yeah, sure. And just try to get it back here. So there's another thing here which you've probably never seen before. So this thing, if you have a look, what would that be? Looks like a piece of wood. Okay, so this is one of the first samples that Martin gave me. It's actually made from recyclable cardboard. So we can also turn cardboard back into building materials as well, and all that sort of stuff without binders, just by grinding things very, very fine and then evaporating it out of it. I cut a piece of this off while I was still at work at uni. I put it into a cup, and it actually swelled up by the third. And then that's weird. So I took it back out and put it next to the thing, and it shrank back down to exactly the same size. So the process has got large potential, but we're still trying to find someone to take it to the next level. At the moment, we're just making hemp didgeridoos, which is a great thing called Sign of Hemp. We're also making bowls and tabletops and all that sort of stuff in the company Nimbin. But the process hasn't really been taken on a large scale, which hopefully one day someone will. This thing here, that's basically a hemp resin and fibre board. So that's been pressed in a press tool. So in the future we will have stuff made from hemp that's reasonably affordable. At this stage, because we're still very small scale, it's still a bit priced. You know, everything is a bit up. You almost need to find products that are fairly valuable, basically, to be able to compete against the plastic and the cheap shit that's out there from China. But in China, they never really given up the hemp industry, so they kind of been working on hemp for a long time. And if you get any clothing made out of hemp, it's probably most likely to come from China or from Nepal. So the future is coming, but it's coming very slowly.
Is that biodegradable? And what sort of resin?
So the biodegradable one doesn't come into this one. This is actually, it has got a resin in it. So the biodegradability, if there's nothing inorganic in it, yeah, you can't call it biodegradable, but it's still a resin. So it's hard to break down from that point of view. And of course, this thing here, this is when I was I did volunteer in Melbourne at the factory where we made a needle punch machine, and basically the needle punch machine and hemp, you can then make hemp cloth or hemp matting. So this is actually a weed mat, goes on your ground and then stops your weeds from going through. And the yeah, so what we did with this particular part, so we put resin on this one and then wrap the where we got it. It's gone for walkabouts. Anyway, the outside of that little 4x2 piece that's going around is yeah, wrapped with resin for strength, and then the inside is just basically for filling the hemp chips for filling. So this is a bit of hemp chips that we made a few years ago, and my little place is basically made partly from this, and then we just add other things like wood chips, lantana chips, and cantaloupe chips, and then with magnesium oxide, magnesium chloride as a binder. We add it into a mix, and then you can make anything out of it. At the moment, I'm working on my pizza oven. I'm probably 3/4 of the way there, but not quite proven the concept. But you can pretty much build anything like a cob oven with that particular wood chips and stuff. Now, of course, everybody starts with a seed. If anybody's interested in getting some seeds, we've got some of them for you, naughty and nice ones. These ones are just something I asked my boys to grow me a few things so I can give them away. So if somebody would like to take the plant home, you're welcome. If you're worried about the cost, just put it underneath the seed. They don't actually smell. The dogs smell. We don't know what the smell is. It doesn't have a smell yet, so we'll be safe. But also, if you want to have some Nuba hemp delivery, we'll do that for you as well. Now, biochar. It's another future thing. I'm kind of friends with a guy who makes actually this. Have anyone heard of soft agriculture in geez, I forgot the words. Malangani. Anyway, if you want to grow a good vegetable garden, biochar comes into it. Right? And we are starting to make biochar large scale out of hemp. So all the leftovers and stuff get biochar. They have got a factory set up where they do biochar, and then with the biochar off gas, they're running all their factory and their tractors and stuff, and they're also doing everything organic. So there's a fair few people starting in the organic hemp stuff, and biochar is part of the future. Well, one of the reasons I went to Melbourne because somebody said to me, you can make a hemp battery. And I said, how does that work? Well, you're basically using hemp biochar mixed with some copper shavings, and then make it into the cathodes of the thing. So using hemp and then an electrolyte, and I have seen the battery work. Well, we never really got around to making a working prototype yet. That's something that hopefully will happen in the future. And there's a few people working on different things. I think in America they've started hemp batteries as well. So that's a thing. But hemp and biochar, it's actually it's a lot softer than the biochar you get from the hardwood. So it's actually very good for you for eating as well. It's good for your pets as well. So you can give the pets, if you give them 6% of biochar, the cattle stop farming, about 90%, I think. If you add this to the bitumen on the side of your road, it makes the bitumen stronger. So it's kind of part of the future, and it's also a way of getting rid of all the waste. So we can just burn the waste. But once again, it just takes investments. It takes people to take it on a serious basis, and at the moment it's just a couple of hippie stoners who's sort of having a go at it, which is hopefully going to change, and hopefully some of the governments of the world are going to come on board as well. And once again, they get sort of their butts, and I think they're getting the picture now very, very slowly. And obviously medical cannabis has come in. All why do we know? but you also should be able to grow your own plants at home. And that's another thing I want to encourage people, basically grow your own stuff. You know, don't worry about the cops. If they do come to your place now and you only got 3 or 4 plants in your garden, they basically just pull them out and give you, not even a warning actually, just pull them out. Fuck off. It happened to me twice. Sorry about that. Should have turned it off. The farmer from Newcastle. So we got a little farm in Newcastle at the moment, and we still got a few plants out there. And an old guy with one leg running his little hemp farm for us. And yeah, anyway, it's been a struggle of a year with weather and everything like that. And yeah, we've been struggling. But he's out there harvesting at the moment, while I'm up here having a good time. Yeah, back to the essential. So also another thing that we haven't discussed is this part here, which is pretty much hemp seeds. And does anybody here not eat hemp seeds? Does anybody eat hemp seeds?
Had some for dinner last night.
You had, yeah. Well, hemp should be more part of our cooking thing in the future, because it's actually got up to 32% protein in it, a lot of acid, positive fatty acids, amino acids, and what they call the omegas. So it's extremely healthy for you, and it tastes nice as well. Who knows how to make hemp milk? Nobody.
How do you make hemp milk?
Hemp milk. Okay. So hemp milk is basically 2 tablespoons of hemp seeds, either coconut water or nice mineral water, or nice clean water, and then your bullet or your blender. Go to 60 minutes, 60 seconds, minutes, 60 seconds, and it turns into a white, fluffy sort of thing. You can strain it if you want to have everything, or you just use it as such on your muesli, in your coffee. You can actually, in Newcastle we are making coffee with hemp seeds, and it's also good on cookies. So we made some cookies for you for later on. So if somebody wants to have a little trial of the cookies, different Bailey spent all night last night cooking for us. So we'll share that a bit later on. Also, she made us a beautiful pot of hemp soup, which we're going to share with you later on. Yeah, I want to just encourage people to utilise the hemp plant to its full potential. Obviously the food is one of them. You can also obviously cook all this stuff, or even smoke it up, you know. But in general, in hemp, we're encouraging people. It's for health, and not so much for getting stoned. It's really to get healthy and happy, not to get wasted. But hey, the wasting that's okay too. If you don't weigh inclined, and I sometimes do that too myself every day. I also think that if you have got any medicinal problems and you can't afford it, the easiest way is start off with one of these ones, you know. And basically, it's really quite easy to turn that then into something that's really good for you, whether it's a cream or an oil or just food in general. So it's something that everybody should really have in their garden, just one or two little plants. Especially if you come to Nimbin MardiGrass, I'm assuming you're all into the 420 or into the cannabis friendly stuff. You need to have a plant at home in your garden. If you can't grow it, somebody else can grow it for you. If somebody else can't grow it, you can grow it for them. And it's kind of turns a little bit of a community effort and stuff that we all should be doing and helping each other out. I mean, it's easier to be a charity than a business. I find I'll probably fail in business, but in charity, I think I'll be doing all right. So I love to give things away. It's good to sell things every now and often as well, because we all have to make a living. Petrol, diesel on these things these days. But the future, I think, is also potentially we will be able to make biodiesel. I don't know whether hemp is actually the best thing to make biodiesel. I think there's other plants that are probably more suitable, but hemp is one of them that we can use in the future to do all that as well. Um, um, honey. Here we go. So this one I made a couple of days ago, and that's basically just a bit of manuka honey and some of my CBD buds, and then some of my CBD resin in a jar, and you basically have maybe half a teaspoon of that for your relaxation, your anti-inflammatory and all sort of stuff. It tastes really nice. You depending on what you're putting in there, I suppose, whether it can get you high or not. In Nimbin, most of the hemp honey you get is actually cannabis honey, so it actually will make it a little bit high. This one I haven't actually had as much to make me high, so I don't know. I think it's just a healthy version of it. We also do CBD vapes as well. So if somebody wants to give up smoking, for example, you can vape CBD a little bit easier. And then of course it's all the edibles. So we've got the edibles. You can make your own gummies. You can make your own things really, and that's where I would like you all to go. Really, just make your own, grow your own, make your own. So you don't have to go to the chemist and buy radiated weed and stuff like that to grow your own. And if you're living up in Nimbin, get yourself a mold-resistant strain, because mold is a little bit of a problem. These little furry creatures come up all over the place, and it's pretty hard to finish any cannabis in Nimbin if you're really well set up. And I guess it also shows the good farmers from the bad farmers, because in different conditions, only the good people succeed getting the nice plants out there. Now, does anybody else have any thing that they would like to me to talk about, or any questions early on the piece before we go into the fun part of trialing some of my goodies?
Hey, could you just explain the hemp milk again, please?
The hemp milk. Well, hemp milk is basically made from hemp seeds, whole hemp seeds, and there's two ways of doing it. You could take viable seeds, soak them overnight, or maybe 2 nights, get them to sprout, and then mince them, and that'd be the healthiest milk you can get. But what I normally do is just I get 2 tablespoons of this in a glass of suitable water. Coconut water is really nice. And then you can basically make flavorings, blueberries, bananas, whatever you want, and it will be the healthiest milk that you can have. I mean, it shits on cow's milk, because we're not meant to drink cow's milk. Calves are supposed to drink that. That just trickles into believing that milk is good for us. Turns out not so much. But anyway, the hemp as such is a replacement. It tastes a bit nutty, so it's kind of a little bit. Yeah, anyway, it's definitely something to try. And also, we made our first batch of hemp yogurt the other day. That's 1 cup of hemp seed to half a cup of water, and then blend that up into a creamy sort of a consistency. Then add a little bit of starter culture of the yogurt, and you can make yourself a hemp yogurt. You can also add, what's the other milk? Coconut milk with it, coconut cream depending, and it actually turns out alright. The other thing I have made just recently was hemp kombucha. So I'm teaching my kombucha Scobie to eat hemp rather than green tea, and that seems to work alright. But you have to work yourself up a little bit. So I started off with 50% of green tea, and then I'm just working back. At the end, I'm just going to go cannabis tea basically, and I can use all my scrap stuff and cook it up for 20 minutes. Let it cool down. Add some honey in it. And then we make June, which is basically the kombucha version with honey, and that's just super healthy for you. You can it lasts for about a week before it goes vinegary, and then with the vinegary stuff you start your next stuff. So it's a continuous thing. It's a bit like kimchi and stuff, And you can do the same thing with kimchi and stuff. You can also mix that in with your cooking as well. It cooks up really well. you'll be able to taste some of the soup afterwards. We've got a bit of sprinkles up the top, yeah, you'll find the hemp is actually a really good tasting element to your stuff, your salad dressing, and everything like that as well. So you should consider using a lot of that. Really, probably a kilogram a month. Really, should be going through your system, and it'll be anti-inflammatory, and it's just good for you. You know,
And you can get it from the supermarket too.
and you get
It's easily available. You don't have to grow a crop to get the seed.
Just
pop into
it's all available. It's all available now, and if you're not doing it, you're quite silly, really, because you should be getting into the hemp for health and stuff. And yeah. So, any more questions? Any? No? Anyway, so what's the time? How are we going for time?
You've got half an hour.
Half an hour. Well, I'm going to kill the half an hour with probably giving you some food afterwards, and I mean, I didn't really come terribly well prepared. I brought some of my samples. We got some cooking and ate, but I'm not really your average guest speaker, I guess. I did always have an ambition to be part of MardiGrass on the guest speaking side. It took me a few years to get up here, and then one day I got stoned at the hemp bar, and Michael said, "What are you going to do, Richie?" I said, "Oh, I could do something." And I said, "Oh, well, maybe we could do cooking." So when I go to Confest, I basically do cooking classes. So people come and we cook something up, and we make cookies and stuff like that, and then hand it out. And a lot of happy people, but also the bad thing is the greening out part. So I don't think anybody should green out from our soup because we haven't put much in it. If you want to green out, we've got some additive here for you in the form of drops. So if you want to get super happy soup, we can do that too. But in general, the soup we made is just happy. It's not super happy. It's happy. In the future, maybe the next couple of years, we'll also have magic soup as well. So you can have drops, whatever. So naughty, nice, and magic. So in my case, my labelling system is quite simple. Red is for THC and green is for CBD. So you basically, you can choose. Obviously, the THC will probably take. Well, I don't know. Some people take it in the morning, but most people have it before bedtime. We kind of make all different things and the different strengths and stuff. But I do have my own company called Hemp Flora, which I've got a couple of business cards here. If somebody wants to know anything, talk to me at some later stage. I'll be able to help you out. Also, if you need any advice on how to get a hemp license, I'll be able to help you out with that too. And I just want to encourage people to get into hemp and eat it and drink it and make all different things.
I've got a question. How hard is it to get a license? Do you have to have any special qualifications, or how much land do you need?
No, the land is basically a hemp license grows on the hemp license holder. So I have a hemp license. If you got land and you want to start it, I can come and put my hemp license on your place. Right, I've done that a number of times, and then people then take over after a while. It costs $570 for you to get your own hemp license, or maybe it's $700 by now. But in general, it's kind of it's not that much anyway, put it this way. And then it's $200
checks or anything?
Sorry?
Like police checks? Like
Yeah, so police check.
I
I've just done one with my girlfriend the other day. It took $99 and about 15 minutes. That's the only requirement in regards to your police check. You cannot be convicted of a drug crime. Simple. But when I did it, it flagged me because I had a non-recorded conviction on. I got no. Well, not the other one. Oh no! So my very first crime that I had to go to court for was growing 3 illegal vegetables about that size here in my garden in Wollongong at a creek. Cops came, pulled them out. Came back a little bit later on when I regrew them, and then took me to court, and I ended up getting a non-recorded conviction. and the non-recordable leaching is not supposed to be showing up. But when anyway, the system gets a hold of you, they're very bit suspicious, and they have taken a lot longer to give me a license because I'm suspicious, obviously. And I'm also working with the Church of Ubuntu in Newcastle and the Hemporium, which they knocked them back on a hemp license themselves. So you can be knocked back for association with bad people or other people, but in general it's quite easy to get a hemp license. And like I said, you don't need your own place. You can grow with someone else, and they just have to give you owner's consent to grow, and then you can pretty much grow anything. I would recommend if you want to grow, just grow small, you know, and what you can handle, because, you know, 200 kilograms of weed or hemp or whatever it is a lot of work, you know. So just keep it small, do it for yourself and for your friends and for your own benefits. So far, I don't think there's been too many successful hemp stories out there. There's a fair few unsuccessful ones. I only know 2 or 3 successful hemp farmers really that is, you know, doing okay, but most people are still struggling. But there is no a chance for the future to people to get uptake contracts, so you can actually get a contract with a company and you'll be able to grow for them under a contract. So they guarantee that they take your stuff off you. Obviously, there's different things you can grow for. In my case, on my license, it's seed and fibre. I have now included resin in it as well, and I've been making resin for quite some time. I'm not too sure about my resin. Anyway, I do have some resin. Anyway, resin is I guess one of the things I do, because when you are turning your flowers into resin, you're reducing the bulk from well, basically 10%. So you end up with hundreds and hundreds of liters of oil. You just end up with a few syringes or a few jars of quite valuable oil. And the oil on the open market now sells between $7,000 or $8,000 a kilo to up to $25,000 a kilo, depending on what you got. So it's quite a valuable commodity. Who you're selling it to is always a bit difficult, because obviously if you do everything above board, it's a bit different than if you're doing it kind of on the side. I can't say I've always been. Yeah. Anyway, I'm sort of in the grey area. I would say I'm a full-on licensed hemp farmer, but I'm still not fully, you know, on board with the government and their bullshit anyway. Last year we had a crop condemned. We ended up testing 1.5% THC instead of 1%, and they actually asked us to burn it. And they had a bonfire and sent me a little picture of her charcoal in all my buds. Luckily, it was last year's buds that we gave them, and not this year's, because they sort of turned up without the farmer being told, and the farmers told them a few fibs and stuff. Anyway, we got away with it, and we are kind of hoping to get more and more legal as we go along. I mean, obviously, 3 years ago, resin was completely legal. Now I can make resin, but as long as I say it needs to be for an industrial application. So I just make super glue. It means your health. Works for me, works for other people, and it tastes quite good, and it works quite well. All right, any more questions?
Yeah, I've got another question. You're talking about sort of making the objects out of the hemp fibre and the resin. Would you use the resin from the hemp plant?
That's definitely something I want to see done in the future. So when you're growing acres and acres and acres and acres, at the moment they call it dual crop, so seed and fibre. Right? The buds actually, most of them go onto the paddock. Right? But once we then harvest everything and we use the whole thing, we should be able to stick our stuff together with our hemp resin. Because hemp resin, when you dry it off if you dry it off, it goes so hard. I spilled some on one thing, I couldn't get it off the container, it was that hard. So it's a proper resin. But at this stage, I mean, at $30 a gram, it's not it's not something you're going to stick your whole stick in. So, but in the future, once we've got so much and it's all done commercial and large scale, hemp as a resin, as a glue will come for sure. Anybody else? You know something? Otherwise, we're going to get into the feeding frenzy. Is anybody would like to try something? Some cookies and some soup?
Sure, there we go.
Okay. Well, as far as I'm concerned, I just want you guys to be happy and healthy, and hemp is part of it. So yeah, please keep it going. And, yeah.
Well, that's fantastic. Thank you so much for sharing your knowledge and your experience with us.
Yeah, and if somebody wants to talk to me at any stage also, I did actually bring a piece of, no, I didn't bring a pen. Anyway, if somebody wants to put a name, the thing in there, wants some information or my business card, that's all about. And yeah, have a nice day.
Oh,
So if you're coming up the front here, I'll somehow try to ladle you out to a bit of hemp soup. Yeah.
yeah, well, come on up, folks, if you want to sample Richard's weird, because we've got we're almost half an hour before the next talk. So come on down. Don't be shy. Your other box come back over.